Nancy Pelosi is getting ready for the weekend, as you and I are. Time to relax and do much of nothing, which is sort of what she does on a regular basis. You know, she came back from her congressional vacation this week, and no joke. And as soon as she came back into town, she says, I'm not taking a vacation just anytime soon. Darling, you have to actually work on something till you start talking about a vacation. But minutes ago, AOC out of New York, Representative AOC, talked about the blunt bill, the pot bill, and she says we shouldn't punt the blunt bill. It rhymes. It's really nice. Somewhere, Mitch McConnell's trying to figure out how to rhyme lobster with mobster. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Morning's LALATE, and I hope you're good and safe. And boy, if you're trying to rhyme, I don't rhyme with anything. LALATE, and I don't know, it doesn't really rhyme with anything. But thank you for tuning in every 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, daily here on the net. Part of our 4.5 hour programming block every day on LALATE. And big exciting news, which I can break to you right now. Yes, is that LALATE will be expanding its programming shortly with a new show joining its morning's LALATE programming block. Because you tune into this video so much, we will be adding a new show shortly thereafter to this broadcast. Big exciting news about second stimulus check, your second stimulus check. Developments overnight, stuff to be really excited about, more news about executive orders, big developments about economics of the situation, and then a little bit of scary news at the end about where the economy is going and why second stimulus checks are needed right now. Additionally, big details about LWA and FPUC. A lot of stuff in this video. So sit back, get the coffee brewing, get the toast toasting, get the butter buttering. I'm here, you're here. The Democrats are in the room. The Republic dogs, I'm messing that up, are in the room as well. Thank you for joining LALATE. Go to the Finance channel, subscribe, and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. You're part of the Purple Power community. Over 250,000 subscribers in 4 months, a YouTube record, and we're certainly not settling there. We're still on path. Also like this video, because this is going to be a damn good video. Let's get to the incredible great news. Overnight, Mark Meadows really slammed the Democrats, saying you got to get a second stimulus check out right now. Yes, this is the president's chief of staff, the closest person to the president, the closest person to the White House, the the person who would see if an executive order is going to be done, Mark Meadows. This is incredibly great news as we're starting Friday morning with. Mark Meadows says that you need to send out second stimulus checks right away. You need to get enhanced unemployment benefits out right away. And you know what? I love this. He said, I'm calling upon the news media to go to Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, DCA, on Thursday evening, because you're going to see, quote, you're going to see members of Congress leaving Washington to go home and pretend like they're working so hard on the particular deal when, in fact, the checks are not. Stimulus checks are not going out to the American people, and unemployment benefits will start to cease. I love this. This is the best quote I've heard the entire week. God bless you, Mark Meadows. If you don't know, because I haven't detailed it, Nancy Pelosi and her flock of sheep, or flock of seagulls, or flock of, whatever matches that hairstyle, arrived into town just this week after a congressional vacation. I think it's the second vacation since this channel has launched, or third vacation. I mean, this channel's only been around 4 months, and they've had 3 vacations already. They came back from their vacation this week. Guess what? They're going home this weekend. Yeah, because they make so much money on our tax dollars doing much of nothing. So they go home on the weekends and they come back and they work 3 days. Well, they work 3 days. And so Meadows says, you know what, let's slam their butts for not giving you second stimulus checks. The checks are not going out, his exact quote. And unemployment benefits will start to cease. What is he referring to? He's referring to LWA. LWA, 3 weeks of LWA by FEMA is about to expire. The FEMA has confirmed that all the states that applied are getting 6 weeks of LWA benefits. This is incredibly great news. But the incredibly not great news is that those 6 weeks are about to run out. Those 6 weeks are about, we're about at week 6. Now, I understand if you haven't gotten your LWA benefits, they're coming in the mail. They're absolutely coming, so stay calm. But the point is that for people at this week, we're closing on week 7, week 8. So there is no enhanced unemployment benefits. Meadows went on. It's time to call on the House members and to make sure that they stay here and we negotiate. At least they can use the $1.5 trillion new recommendation as a foundation for new negotiations. We've got tens of thousands of people who are about to be laid off. So if nothing more, go ahead and put the package on the floor and pass that, make it law, because hopefully all of us can agree that laying off airline workers at this particular time is not something we should do. I was with him to the very last line. Why did you have to say airline? Oh my God. I was with him to the very last line. I mean, it was, can we just cut that part out? Can we just abridge that sentence, that last part out there? What's incredibly great news is what he is talking about is the Problem Solvers bill from Tuesday, introduced by 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats, which Nancy Pelosi called all Republicans. Yeah, that's... and it was a bill that was bipartisan, which she called Republican. And to that, it really pushed the envelope. It brought everything to an incredibly great position we are now. Democrats are absolutely firing back at Nancy Pelosi, saying you have to do this deal. You absolutely have to do this deal. You have to do this deal. Democrats are calling for Nancy Pelosi to abdicate from her role as chief negotiator. Republicans are asking for Nancy Pelosi to be removed from Speaker of the House. That's not really happening. That's sort of hard to do. And then Republicans are saying, hey, get your own butt up on your negotiation amount. You and your Mitch group that were down at 500 billion or 500, whatever crazy number that is, get up. The president is at 1.5. He was at 1.3 trillion about a week and a half ago. Now he's at 1.5. I've been reporting since June. I'm going to continue to report exclusively on this channel. This president will go to 2. But he's dragging a bunch of slow Republicans with him. But Mark Meadows' comment is absolutely incredible. Here is the big great news on top of that, which I'm going to detail for the first time ever on this channel. You ready? If the viewers of this channel, the Purple Power, get a meeting between Mark Meadows and myself, I will fly to Washington. I will fly to Washington and go there on behalf of the Purple Power, on behalf of the Americans people, Americans public, people of California, people of the Republican Party, people of the Democratic Party, to get and advocate for you, a round of second stimulus checks to land in your hands before you vote this election. $1,200 individual checks, $2,400 married couple checks, family of 5, dependents, child or adult dependents, $1,200, not taken out for child support, landing in your bank account by the manner in which you receive SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, electronic means by no later than when you start to vote by mail-in ballots, funded by the money allocated and dedicated and identified by the president over 2 weeks ago in a series of tweets, $300 billion. It covers the expense. Believed to be expired PPP money that the president has complete constitutional authority to send out. And I would urge and meet with Meadows and urge him to have the president sign an executive order to send out these second stimulus checks, detailed as I just detailed to you, and have it done right away. I would also advocate for $400 FPUC 2.0 to start immediately with other funds that this channel believes are in existence that the president can use, and anchor it to the prior executive order or by a new executive order at $400 a week retroactively back to the date of July at which FPUC 1.0 expired. If people have not received LWA, removing the $100 threshold. If they have received LWA, then going forward to December 31st. That is what I would advocate. So if you can go on Twitter and you can go on Facebook and you can share this video and tag Mark Meadows, I will know his name. I will know his name. I will treat him with respect like anyone else should as a member of the public, as anyone else should have done, contrary to Nancy Pelosi, who would never refer to his name, never talk to him with any respect, call him a flunky, call him a staff member. All these horrible, disgusting things she said about someone that she works with, really sort of, unacceptable. I will go there and I will advocate for those for you if you can get a meeting with him and myself. All right, let's get more to the details. Jerome Powell, chief of the Federal Reserve, says enough is enough. You have to do stimulus. This is incredibly big news. He says you have to do stimulus. It has to come from an act of Congress. It can't come from me. Yeah, I don't agree. But if you don't do it, there's going to be some problems. More fiscal support, which is stimulus, is likely to be needed. The details are for Congress, not the Fed. I don't agree. But he adds, if there isn't additional support, the stimulus, then there isn't a job for some of those people who are from industries where it's going to be very hard to find new work. Then that will start to show up in economic activity. It will show up in things like evictions and foreclosures and things that will scar and damage the economy. Additionally, some other great news. Let's turn to another subject. Mark Meadows was asked about the focus and the direction of negotiations that happen this week about second stimulus, presumably about that phone call between Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi. He said, we've had some positive movement in the right direction. Wow, that's incredibly great news. Here's the part that makes me a little bit antsy. So this is not good news. This is a little bit antsy news. Not to rhyme with Nancy, but antsy news. A group of people met with Mark Meadows yesterday, and I don't really like this meeting. It was the U.S. airline industry. Yes, those are the people that wanted the president to take that $300 billion that's supposed to be for your second stimulus and send it to themselves. They met with the president to ask for another emergency round of relief to be paid to airlines. And they came out and they say, we had a really great meeting. There's an, quote, there's an urgency with our October 1st deadline, said Sarah Nelson's a United Airlines flight attendant. We need a relief bill before it's too late. No, you don't. What's going on is that the airlines took a fortune the first time around in the CARES Act 1, and the money was to be given to the airlines so that they would not lay off workers. What they did was they laid off workers and kept the money and used it for their lost profits. So they're back in town doing much the same, trying to plead the issue of loss of work pending, but they don't want guardrails on any type of COVID-19 relief. Basically, they want a lot of bailout money because they can't make their bills, and all they want to do is lay off people. No. The money needs to go to the employees. It doesn't need to go to the airline industry. So I'm really nervous about this. What I'm nervous about is that Meadows then said that he's open to a standalone package, standalone bill, for the airline industry. That's why you got to get me in that town. Get me into a meeting with him ASAP, because no. You need stimulus checks as a standalone bill or executive order. Meadows had also said last month that the president was open to executive order for the airlines to have relief. Lord, use the money on stimulus checks first, please, and then we can take care of the airlines. All right, AOC has her head screwed off wrong. She says, if you're trying to punt her blunt bill, I can't say this. I added the word blunt to the quote, but it's still so good. She said, if you're trying to punt it, which is the blunt, as a result of a political calculation, I disagree with that calculation. She has the Larry Kudlow calculator. This is an enormously popular policy. To who, honey? People are homeless. They don't have money for pot. How about you stay on the street homeless for a week and figure out whether punting a blunt bill is the priority? Not just for our base, but it's also very popular among certain parts of registered Republican and independent voters. I think it's a win-win policy, and I think we should do it before this election. I also think you're crazy. It's just like, guys, go have a drink. Serve yourself some drink. Representative Louis Correa, Democrat of California, says it's about 2 weeks in the conversation gone from no problem to people now doing a shutter step to maybe people avoiding this vote altogether. I think you should punt the blunt bill and get back to work. Punt the blunt. New t-shirts coming. Virus news. This is not good news. So put down the coffee. I have to tell you this. I have to tell you everything that's good and bad, and this is not good. We don't live in a bubble. We're next to other countries. So we need to know what's going on in other countries because they travel to our country. There's no travel ban. They can't come into America. And we're going there. And we're a world, this is a world economy where people interact. So we have to know if things are spreading and moving quickly somewhere nearby. And they are. New data out today from France and Spain shows COVID-19 cases suddenly out of control. If you're watching the Tour de France on TV, and like I am, and you're seeing the people in France, Tour de France is in France as well. Talk to the Tour de France. I know it's sort of hard for Steve, Larry Kudlow to understand where the Tour de France is. But if you watch the Tour de France, they're literally standing next to each other watching this Tour de France with no masks on. It's just a joke. It's a joke. Well, a new report out from WHO, World Health Organization, says that France and Spain are now seeing more daily cases than they ever saw when the pandemic first hit. It's even worse because now they say that in some countries, I think it's France, yes, in ICU units are now at full capacity, and we're not even into the thick of fall. In England, they're doubling every 8 days. We haven't even started to hit the flu seasons yet, so we're worried that these increases in number of hospitalization ICU are really going to overburden our system. Overburden? They're at full capacity. They're at full capacity in the first week of September. This is Spain, this is France, and now there's massive spikes in Georgia, Montenegro, and Ukraine, and they say this is very scary. Finally, some other shocking news, and I've got to really tell you this. And this is sort of a mixed bag of bad but good and good but bad. The bad is most analysts, and I'm going to co-sign this as well, now believe the stock market is on the brink of a collapse. Most analysts now believe that the stock market has ran up in recent weeks and months based upon false disbelief, thinking everything is so wonderful, we're all rebound, we're all doing so great. There's a couple of tech stocks that clearly are doing well because of the lockdown, because of the pandemic. And so some people think that those companies are indicative of the entire stock market, entire Wall Street. They are not. And so new reports now suggest that there could and is a bubble. A worse bubble than we saw in the big crash of the 1990s before the recession, where everyone thought that there was a tech bubble. We were all so great. We're all going to do so well. Every stock's going to go up $200 a day. We're all in a perfect environment. That sort of rose-colored glasses environment is occurring now, Wall Street analysts are saying, and they see that there's too much frothiness, too much excess, too much jubilance among trading houses on Wall Street, that they're sensing a major stock market crash is upon us. And they say it's going to be far worse than anything in the 1990s. That, in a strange way, is good news, because if that crash happens right away, the forces that be, the Republicans and the Democrats, will say, no, you need stimulus. You are sitting back taking $12 ice cream from your $20,000 refrigerator in San Francisco. You're pushing a lobster bill for the people of Kentucky that aren't anywhere near Maine, and you're sitting in a nice condo in New York talking about a pot bill, or you're chasing Broadway tickets as a senator out of New York. You have priorities askewed. You need these things right now. So a lot of details in a day in which the situation is very fluid. Where are we on executive orders? Finally that. All suggestions and all focus still believes that executive orders is the way to get you the second stimulus check. And that is why Mark Meadows, Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Pete Navarro, all those forces need to be tagged with videos of this channel to say, get stimulus checks out. by executive order. Get them out right away. That seems to be the best and strongest hope, because all those people have said they want sex and stimulus checks to go out. And they've all said it several times this week and in the last 48 hours. Nothing else could be better news. Go to the Finance Channel, subscribe, and drop your comments below, and I might feature them tomorrow's recording. And like this video, because this is a damn good video. Coming up this afternoon is Afternoons LA at 3:30. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.